I've shared most of the principal focus I've had in business on the financial freedom aspects of my career. Meaning, once I started learning that in addition to working for a job and getting paid a high salary, I could take some of the money that I got from my job and use that money to invest in business and in assets. So if you think about it, I graduated in 1994, 1996, I bought my first home. And in 2002, that's almost, was that 6 years later, I bought my first rental property. Um, 2 years after that, I converted the first property that I bought into another rental property because as I read and understood Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I got really focused on finding things that could replace me at work that grew in value. Started my first business in networking where I built anything significant with 5links back in 2007. So if you think about that trajectory, 2002, first rental property, 2004, second rental property, 2007 was my second network marketing business. And I should point out that in my first network marketing business, I was a relative failure. I mean, I grew a group to about 100, but my residual income was somewhere around $4.
What the?
It's just the scale at the time. Like back then, it was a different time, a different place, and I was a younger person. At that point, I was probably how old? It was before my first daughter was born. So I was somewhere between 24 and 25 years old. It was my first business training outside the realm of what I learned in college and started letting me know about the things that I had to unlearn and the things I had to be willing to relearn. Now, ironically, that was the business that Chuck, Dr. Sean T. Hill, and Brian all met as grown men in business in. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Meaning, I don't know if y'all understand this. Chuck and Brian, I got the yearbook from Oak Knoll Elementary School. They were in Mr. Newton's first grade class together. Right? That was before business. We're from the same neighborhood. I say all that to say that over time, my progression was I worked in corporate by day, and at night I was working to get out of corporate to make sure that I learned how to run a big business through my affiliation in corporate America, but also to put myself in a place where eventually my goal was never to work again. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Now
sir.
the blessing is that because of the weird intersection of things that I am, meaning I'm a speaker, but also a technology person, I built up a hell of a resume. Meaning, if you think about companies in technology, the big boys, I started off my career in Capgemini as a consultant. It's an international consulting company. I was blessed to be good at technology and building things, but they taught me project management skills. From Capgemini, I got recruited into a company called Blue Martini. It's a startup company. It was the first company allowing brick and mortar stores to put their click and mortar presence to go people that were traditional businesses to have a web presence. Does that make sense? Who joined us? Hey, okay.
Hallelujah.
So if you think along that timeline, the thing that Blue Martini was best at was analyzing what people bought and suggesting other things to them. So the engine that was in that company. Oh, by the way, that company made paper millionaires. Its stock went from $5 a share to 25 to 125
Hmm.
dollars a share. So people that had my job, I know one of them still today owns a private plane because of that run up as .com emerged, but also the burst. Went from there to IBM, Oracle, Salesforce, Microsoft, all these companies. The goal in technology has always been to build a better tool. And whenever you build a better technology, you help people do more things faster. Here's the challenge with technology. Hey, what's up, bro? Biggest challenge with technology is that people that weren't ahead of the technology tend to fear it or over embellish it. But technology has always been the linchpin that moved human beings from one era to another one. Am I making sense? Meaning, all you got to do is date back. Y'all remember when I went through the timeline of the ages for money and said you can only make money in the era you're in?
Mm.
Meaning, Brian talked about it at Game Changer, but he skipped an important one. The prehistoric era, where men were hunters and gatherers, was because no one had lived long enough and kept good enough records to understand the change of seasons. So they had to go and hunt and eat what they kill, but what allowed the arrival of civilization was enough communications and enough record keeping for people to know that if you plant this thing at this time, it'll grow. And so people didn't have to move around to find food. They could grow their food if they acted according to the seasons, and they could increase their wealth by having more land. That's the agricultural era, and it lasted a long time. It lasted from the Bible to the US, right?
Yes.
But the technology that allowed that next change was the invention of a tractor. A tractor meant that one man could do what 100 people were doing. And it created leisure, but it was one of the things that was necessary for somebody that had a thing to do a thing better. Does that make sense? So all of the transitions into the industrial age, all the problems of the previous age created the window to make the new age make sense. All right. And then now here's what happens. The ages started getting shorter because the industrial age, roughly the 1850s, call it the end of the Civil War, to about the end of World War II, started to give way to the distribution age, because now you got all these people that are making stuff and they got to figure out how to get it places. So that's when you got Sears Roebuck. That's when you got J.C. Penney and Walmart and network marketing. All of those evolved because of a need for all these people that were producing things to get them shipped out. And that gave rise to the computing age because people were trying to figure out, how can I clean up my books faster? Like Sam Walton got to be the richest man in the world. Sam Walton, Sam's Club, Walmart.
Yep.
He hired some engineers from IBM to manage a supply chain system so he could know what he had, what he needed more of, and get it through the pipeline faster than people that were doing it the old way. To the point that when Sam Walton died, like Sam Walton was clearly the richest man in the world, right? I don't know if y'all saw this. Do you remember that when he died,
He divided his wealth into 8 parts.
his 4 direct descendants became the number 2, 3, 4, and 5 richest person in the world. Bill Gates just got ahead because they split the money up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it also points out that next window, that computing era, which we consider the beginning of IBM, to the personal computer. And this is the time where I was actually alive for what was happening. And computing, I remember we had a computer in our house, and that was a big deal. Now, in our house, I was 12. Yeah. I was the only one that knew how to work the computer because I wasn't afraid of it. Like, my dad bought the computer. And he said, if you put me to work on the computer, he said, learn this thing, learn how to do it. I learned how to program at an early age.
I want
But
a
the 10th,
Nintendo.
he wanted to play.
I want a Nintendo. I want a computer.
Well, we both wanted a Commodore 64, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Commodore 64 had all of the games. I mean, it literally had like audio. Because you all right, William? Put your hands up. You gotta put your hands up. Put your hands up and open your airways. Press your palms together like this. That'll keep you from choking yourself out. There it is. It's right there.
That's
I got,
it.
I got babies. They swallow wrong all the time. But anyway, fast forward. But with the IBM, there weren't the same games. Like all the games my friend Danny had, we didn't have, but it had Sargon. It was a chess game that had programmed in all the top chess players, like Bobby Fischer and them back in the day. And every time you went to play chess, You were saying you were playing against Bobby Fischer, but really you were playing against a program that had Bobby Fischer's moves. Am I making sense? So it was that the computer was designed to respond in a certain way, given a certain move by you. It was beginning of strategy. Now that computer was standalone. We loaded the programs into the computer with floppy disk. How many of you remember floppy disk? Oh, well, y'all all old
I
enough to
remember
remember
it.
floppy
Yeah.
disk. Like
AOL.
it is ironic to me. Like I look at the word interface right now and it has that disk up there at the top as the save button. But for most people in this generation, they've never used that thing to store data. All right, I digress. By the time I got to college, I got to Duke in 1990. I arrived on campus, computer science engineering major, and you had to walk all the way across the campus that other people went to get to where the computer labs were. At Duke, there were computer libraries. I don't know if y'all remember WordPerfect when it used to be blue and white.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to, actually know how to type to get stuff done. Over the course from Rail City was just born in 1990. But in 1991, spring of 1991, I was issued an email address by Duke University Engineering Lab. I still remember it. It's rlh1@acpub.duke.edu. Because only engineers had email addresses in 1990 and 91. By the time I graduated from college, think about this. Computers, like a computer network, you had to have millions of dollars to have network computers in 1990. By the time I finished college in 1994, the programs that were a part of the academic curriculum were no longer state of the art. Computing was doubling about every 2 years back then. But by the time I graduated, it was standard for anybody in technology to have an email address. And by 1996 or 97, when Chuck graduated, every student had an email address.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? So just that innovation, you think about all the things that happen in email right now, and all it is speeding up communication. But the technology was also speeding up. So I'll fast forward because the internet, a couple of years later, you got high-speed internet at home because all of you remember dial-up internet.
Yep,
Yes.
I do.
And then, so it was a revolution to be able to access the internet at a high speed from home. And then around that time, you had the rise of the first three social media platforms. So in my mind, first three social media platforms in order were YouTube, then Facebook, and LinkedIn came together LinkedIn was actually before Facebook.
What about
But it
MySpace, Rich?
Oh, no, I forgot about that. I'm talking about the ones that's still alive. MySpace and Black Planet they were actually in place before they set the framework and made it possible for people to have a non-technological or business reason to be online.
How about TikTok?
Oh, that's last year. TikTok just came out. TikTok is so far an innovation beyond what they were envisioning with MySpace, which Rel mentioned, and Black Planet. But they built on each other, meaning they still built that same set of interactions of instead of you just being in touch with a person because you have their email address or their contact information, it's going to look at your contacts to see who you know, use your contacts to build its body of knowledge and make you stay engaged with this platform. And
Right.
Facebook in particular is one that I've had the opportunity to watch evolve, because I think when I got on Facebook, I was on Facebook for about a year with only one friend. It was my oldest daughter, Amari, because I could not understand why this child was always in the office on the computer talking to her 600 friends, but I could only think of 3. But fast forward. The overall idea is that as technology gets embraced, if we get ahead of it in a place that we don't fear it, but feel that we can put ourselves in control of it and understand it. Like you don't have to do all of it. Like I can remember, hang on. I don't know why my dog had to escape from everybody, but he was pawing at the door, so I let him up. All right. When it comes to technology, you got two choices about it. You can embrace it and learn how to work with it and where it fits into your life, right? You can fear it and try to avoid making the changes and pivots that it requires. Or you can leverage it and you can move miles ahead faster than you've moved before. And I think for me, this is one of those unique calling point times in my life where the two parts of my life that have been relatively separate, meaning there's some crossover where skills that I learned in network marketing have been very valuable to me in corporate America and vice versa. But I think we're at that unique place in time where the worlds of marketing, building business, and technology are coming together in a way where I think we have something unique that we can offer the world if we can teach them. So this will be my experiment with you and with me. Now I'll be sensitive to time because Brian is presenting today again at 8:25, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And we, like I tell everybody, we have the opportunity to work on the stitch of the message of how we exponentially increase leverage if we understand what AI can do and how to make it do what it do the right way for you. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
So you pretend to be an audience that's never heard those things from me before. But as we talk about AI, I want to talk about the secret. Y'all want to know the cheat code for mastering any AI?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Chico.
The cheat code is asking it the right question. It's still a computer. So garbage in gets garbage out. The more specific you can be about what tone of voice you want it to respond in and what you want it to do for you, the better chance you get at having it give you an usable result. Because if there's anybody going out and used AI and asked it to do something and got back something that wasn't good. All right, if all of you tried at least using AI for something, any AI,
Yeah. Briefly. Yeah.
I mean,
Just
on
Chat
purpose, intentional.
GPT. I mean, I've
You
used
got,
chat.
all right. So for those of you that are able to follow along, I don't know that I'll have time to get to the exercises in the cookbook today, but go ahead and start a Chat GPT session. I want to do some compare and contrast of how the prompts for getting your voice into an AI are working for me. Is that okay? So here's Chat GPT. This is Lev AI. It's a part of the platform that we're running in the Triangle Offense. So I just used one of my prompts against it. And then Mastermind was the one that I was already using for my course creations, just a lot of different things. All right. And the nature of generational text is you got to tell it who it is, who you are, and what you wanted to give you. Does that make sense? So the course, if you're taking notes, is called Prompting Made Simple. That's what drives AI. Prompting Made Simple. This is how you use AI with confidence. And my goal as we go, and especially because we're different age groups here, we got Rel, are you actually a millennial?
35.
You are. Damn it. So we got millennials, I guess Gwen and William, you're both baby boomers.
Yep.
Yes.
And then me and Chuck are Gen X, right? Here's my goal across people. Because I'm a technical person and I've been working around this a long time, I'm trying to make it simple enough that someone that gets started brand new from a beginner can use AI prompts. And I got a lot more text in this slideshow than I normally would, because that's what Gen AI is good at, is generating text instructions. So my goal is for you to be a beginner at the beginning of this and not even know what I'm talking about. And without a tech background, just curiosity and willingness to play around and not judge the results, just observe them, that you'll develop the confidence to say, whatever AI is put in front of me, I'll know how to ask it what I want. And by the end, now we'll probably get through about half of this today, but you'll be miles ahead of anybody that was trying to figure out all the things that Spin City was doing and how many AIs he had open on his laptop. Because I want you to be clear on what prompts are and how they work. That's the fundamental thing that was driving all of the magic show that he gave us. Want to show you how to make a voice card so that AI has sounds and phrases and words that sound like you. I'm going to give you, I call them swipeable. I started off calling them stealable, but just templates that you can use for everyday tasks that I'm starting to play around with so that I can outsource things that, quite honestly, I was doing the old school way because that's how I did them. Anybody ever have a thing that you do the way that you do because that's how you did it? Wait, William, why are you on full screen? What is happening here?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
I'm on full screen. Let me see what's going on here.
full screen on my side. Is this speaker view?
Hold on.
Maybe it's because you're unmuted and your camera's on. I don't know.
I'm on gallery on my side. What about now?
It's like you pen, and I don't know why I hear my granddaughter outside yelling. Get in the house. What are you doing?
1 second.
I'm sure my wife is in charge of this, but I don't understand why they're outside.
What about now?
You're still full screen on my view in speaker mode.
What about when I talk, Rich? Am I coming on the full screen too?
You are. Oh, maybe it's just ambient noise in William's background. Maybe that's it. All right.
I got you. I know what to
No
do.
worries. No worries. No worries. This is not an official recording. This is just to see how this goes. So anyway,
What
so the
what
goal,
about now, just in case?
see,
Still the same.
Full screen.
yeah, still same view. Oh, well, now Brell is in full screen. He was the last speaker, but it's not showing me as a speaker. That's weird.
We could see
I might
you
have to
full
spotlight
screen.
I see you full screen, sir.
I might have to spotlight myself so that end up on my home video. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. So if you think about just this concept, so we'll go through these things quickly. Let me make sure to get out of here by, let's call it 8 o'clock. I want to give you some things that you can practice, but I also want you to see and think about where we are. But over time, so we'll make this a series instead of getting it all done today so you don't feel like a fire hose. I think when I've timed this out, it takes about 3 hours for people to see it and do the practice sessions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then toolkit, and then the main thing at the end of it is the confidence to know when and when not to use AI. And when somebody says, and have AI be your assistant, and when somebody says AI, you don't let it punk you like it's about to be the Terminator. Because what I told the Georgia Association of Paralegals, the legal profession, ironically, has been one of the slowest industries to adopt AI fully and embrace it as a technology. But what I said was that AI will not replace you in your job. AI won't take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI probably will. So let me let y'all be the ones that know how to use AI. And in the process, just tell me, what is AI? Does anybody know? You have a definition? What does AI stand for? And what does it mean? What is AI?
It's artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Stands for artificial intelligence. And where do you find AI most often incorporated? Like if you think of AI, because it's still not intelligent, right? It's still artificially intelligent. Like a human being is intelligent. But if you think of AI as a super fast assistant that can read, write, and analyze patterns, It can read, write, and analyze patterns a lot like the chess program I played back in the 90s, right? But it doesn't think or understand like a human, meaning there are thoughts, there are dreams, there are imaginations, there are visions that you have that we still have not matched technologically yet. Making sense?
Sounds like an
Yeah.
intelligent BIOS that you get to input data into and give it commands.
Right. And if you think about it, like this picture right here, you got generative AI, which is the new generation, like Chat GPT. Chat GPT stands for generative predictive text. It's generating text based on what it can predict from other text samples around it. Now, in comparison to traditional AI, that's a game changer, right? Like Siri, before the enhancements for like generative AI has affected Siri and what is it? It's Alexa that powers Amazon product, Google products,
Yes.
and Copilot that powers Microsoft. All of them have embedded generative engines now. But does anybody remember when Siri was stupid? I'll give you an example. I remember because Siri was one of the main talking technology competitors that we had. And if you ask Siri, when was what were the total points that Michael Jordan scored in his career? Right? Siri would go and say, she would actually go out to the record books and say, here's what I found. And it would bring back his total points scored. And then if you ask, when was he born? Siri would say, who? Why is that?
It's not a
Because
pattern yet.
Siri wasn't having a conversation. It was just going and getting facts that it could get. It was relatively, I asked one thing. Oh, Siri is listening to me right now. That's creepy, isn't
And listening to me. I'm moving my phone.
it? But we
Right,
said
it
her
will give
name.
you back the information instead of talking to you.
So it was more of a search and respond bot. It would either find a direct answer if it was in one of the apps that interact directly with the phone, or it would bring you, here's what I found from the web, and it would do a single Google search or equivalent search for you. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But with conversational text engines, they're keeping track of what you said, what you've asked, and what other sources you feed it so that their knowledge base actually grows beyond what's in a traditional app. And if you take a quick history lesson on AI, anybody want to guess what year AI was first introduced as a concept?
8 to 10 years ago.
Okay, I'll give you
Much,
multiple
much
choice.
longer than that.
I'll give you multiple choice. We go with the 1890s, 1950, the 1990s, 2000, or 2010. 1890s, 1950, 1990s, 2000, or the 2010s and forward.
1950s.
The 50s.
Somebody,
1990s.
90s? All right, survey says it was actually the 1950s, and that was the beginning. The evolution of computing was actually, can we teach machines to think? Like if you think about when the IBM mainframes used to be the size of a building, the conscious effort was to get computers to be able to think and help people make decisions. Unfortunately, for most of the time that we've been alive, computers have at best been able to do decision support. Does that make sense? Meaning 1950s, it was an initial process. What did they find computers were good for? Rote tasks. If you can tell it exactly what to do and do it on repeat, it can do just that, right? 1960s and 1970s, they built the first chat bots, not particularly popular. And in the 1980s and 90s, AI was only in specialized fields. Like I was blessed to be a part of an experiment at Duke where they were piloting a system called Rosie. My mentor, he was a grad student, needed Voices to Test, the voice recognition software that powered the first bank calls. So remember when you first could start calling your bank and saying stuff? They had to have people with different cadences, different voices to sample and see how accurate it could be in understanding what we were saying. And then over the course of the 2000s, because here's what happened in the 1980s and 90s, though. If you think about it, the cost of computing went way down and the ability to connect computers went way up. Right? Does anybody remember when the laptop was a $3,000 item?
Yes.
Yep.
Like that you like carrying a computer around in your bag was you're just flossing. It was like you had a bag phone and a computer in a bag. You're rich, rich, rich.
Yeah.
But in the 2000s, what they began doing was having a cheap storage, like memory and storage and processing power were so high that now that instead of just programming the rules ahead of time, like the Sargon chess game always worked the same way, and it was limited to something about the complexity of a chess game because there's only so many chess pieces and they can only move so many ways, right? So it was still programmed with a set of rules, but now what we were able to do was program computers to learn from the patterns in the data. And so if you think about that short history from 2010s to now was what they called a deep learning revolution. And that was a part of Chuck, the work that I used to do at Cognos and IBM, like going into all those data warehouses and putting sets of data together and seeing what things came out of them. That's what we were doing, was seeing what's likely to happen in the future based on these things that have happened in these patterns in the past. And then 2020s took it to a whole nother level, especially with like GPT. Claude is one that I hear a lot of people using now. It was able to take that learning and start applying it to do things like what you saw. Like with Spin, he had one AI that was really good at doing video, a different one that he jumped to do audio and images, and another one that was good at doing text. Like there's no, in AI right now, there's nothing I've seen that's one size fits all, but they do best when they understand what they're most likely to be asked to do. Like if you ask ChatGPT to write you a PowerPoint presentation, it won't be that good. It'll have all the words, but it won't have very good pictures. Make sense?
Yes.
So why is this important? Why are we making this important pivot to it? It comes down to getting more done in less time and freeing up your brain to do other things. Like, I don't know, Chuck, you do 1 or 2 social media posts a day, right?
That is the goal, yes.
That's the goal. That's the plan. Me too. Real similar. I've seen that in your behavior. And some days my Facebook post, my inspirational post just comes to me by inspiration from what I was reading or studying that morning. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Some days I'll get a spark of inspiration from something that I've experienced over the weekend. And some days I struggle to know. Like either way, I spend my thought processing time coming up with things to do. What if you had something that knew your voice and the things that you think about that could give you a menu of suggestions and prompt you for them every day? That's one of the things that like our Lev AI platform has built in. Like I just fed it so far in my training, I just fed it. These are the things I'm interested in. These are my hobbies. Here are a few of the people that inspire me, books I've read and movies I like. And by the time I logged into the system on my desktop, it said, I have your first social media post ready for your review. I ain't even know I asked it for a review, but I was like, that's a good post. I can put that in all my fitness communities and on my personal page. All right, well, all right. So fast forward. So the reason it's important is that it's relevant, it gives speed, it gives the opportunity to do things that we could never do. Like something that might take me, like a book, that it would have taken me a month or a year or forever to outline. I fed my topics and some of my previous content into Gigi, and she had an ebook outline already ready for me, like at the end of me pushing the button. I was like, I can't even read as fast as she gave me back things that sounded like me.
Hmm.
But even more so, because that one is tied to a specific marketing agent, help me identify who the ideal client would be for that so that it could target my marketing at that person. That's something you saw from Spin. Those are things that AI can do. But now what you got to remember is AI's existence is for creating things, so it can hallucinate or make things up. You heard me?
Yes,
Yes,
loud and
sir.
clear.
It's still a toddler,
Yes.
and you might have told it to do something, and its goal is your wish is my command. But if that don't exist, well, let me make something up.
It goes out on a tangent.
Try it gives its best effort to make it sound reasonable. So it still requires, I want y'all to understand this and watch the outputs that you get, especially when you first start playing with it. It still depends on your judgment as the human being. Its intelligence is artificial, yours is infinite. Like infinite intelligence is what powers you. So it still needs you to tell it, this is what I want to do and who I want to do it for. So your direction, your judgment, your creativity are the things that drive it. And this word right here is what drives all generative predictive text, GPTs, is the large language model. What is a large language model? It's a way that as technologists, we've been able to convert human language into code segments that a smart computer can understand. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So if you think about it this way,
Yes.
it's a type of computer program that has been specifically trained to understand human language and then based on its understanding, generate language like that language.
Hmm.
And anybody that's ahead of you, if you think about what AI is like if you could just imagine reading billions of books, reading the articles, listening to the conversation. Then when someone asks you a question, you use all that reading to guess what most likely words come after that. And that's it. Literally, that's what an LLM does. It doesn't think like a human. It doesn't think like you or me, but it's really good at predicting text based on the patterns it's seen and seen from you before. It's kind of similar to anybody start typing a text message these days or send a message on Facebook and it's starting to suggest what words you're about to put in there.
Yes, sir.
It
Yeah.
does. It does.
Now, sometimes it gives you some wild stuff. It's like, I wasn't getting ready to say that. But based on some stuff I said before, potentially it thought I might.
Right.
Just think of that as a large scale. But if you feed to a large language model once upon a time, an LLM probably would give you something like there was a princess or in a faraway land, right? That's just a common pattern that's in a lot of books. And it's learned though from multiple sources. So the more often things occur together, the more likely it is to put them together. Let me pause. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. We already talked about hallucination. So you should know with any large language model, it can make stuff up, especially if you give it a bad prompt. If you get a vague prompt, it'll give you a vague result. It does have biases. This is something that we had to deal with a lot at Microsoft because it reflects the data that it was trained on. So if you think about an AI that's trained on general demographics, or that has been trained on the words of a patent racist, right? It'll reflect in patterns what that person has said. And if you leave out details, AI will guess. And until it knows you, it says the guess might be wrong, but until AI knows you, has had some interaction with you, is likely wrong or it won't sound like you. Make sense?
Gotcha.
Yes.
Hang on, getting a message. Okay. So here's the guidelines. If you think about it, when it comes to prompts, most important thing is that you are clear and specific. A lot of the things that we learned as ways to search Google don't actually serve us well as AI prompts. And the best way to use AI is for rough drafts, for brainstorming, for structure and for speed. It's good at organizing, it's good at getting a lot on the page. But before you publish anything, review and edit it because you're the final author. And it has to, like my rule of thumb, if I'm right now, I'm training it to help me with social media and with prospecting conversations, right?
Sir.
Yeah.
The process that it goes through called training is looking for the number of words you use, the tone, and the audience to give you better control over what output. The more specific and guided your input is, the better your output will be. For now, what I'm going to recommend for all of us, be very careful what you paste. Don't paste your data, your private data about your clients, your passwords, or any of your own financial info. For now, you being you, me being me, for medical, legal, and financial advice, it can look up stuff, but it can also be wrong. And then make sure that if you copy AI outputs word for word without checking for errors, you're setting yourself up to fail because even though it's a computer, it's not foolproof. It's still a toddler, right? It's still learning to talk. It just read a lot after it learned how to talk. Here's what's safe. Just keep this in mind. Say this out loud. Put this in your notes. Say it out loud and put it in your notes. AI doesn't know, it predicts.
Doesn't know. It predicts.
AI doesn't know or predict.
It's making a somewhat educated guess based off the things it's been trained to know. So it's still predicting. And your job for AI is to give it clear, detailed prompts, use creativity controls, and then stay safe by keeping all your sensitive information private. Do not teach, especially ChatGPT. It still belongs, half of it, to a company called OpenAI, and I believe Oracle just bought the other half. So between Oracle and Microsoft, you don't want to sell them your private data. I mean, give it to them for free in your prompts. Make sense?
Yes.
So what's a prompt? Here it is. Y'all been asking this question all week, haven't you? All day. You've been wanting to know. Rick, you're giving all these warnings. Prompt is just the instruction or the question you give AI so that it knows what to do. Right? AI is sitting there like the genie in the bottle. Your wish is my command, but it really doesn't know what you want it to do. Right? And if you think about it as an AI, a super smart assistant willing to help you with anything, but doesn't know who you are, what you want, or how you like things done until you tell it. Like, well, a couple of years ago, I was looking at hiring an assistant, right? Like it was really, I was just overwhelmed. I had too many things to do. I was going to hire a personal assistant. Somebody suggested a virtual assistant. I said, well, the things I most need people to do are the things I'm physically doing. But as we're going through the interview, I had to shape my definition of what that job description looked like so that they could know what things would take the load off my plate and add leverage to my life. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
You fast forward, now we have the opportunity without hiring a person to have an assistant, but the same things I had to learn to have a VA be able to take some things off my plate still have to be done with your AI. And you got to tell it who you are, what you want, and how you like things done. So think of it like talking to a friend who's helping you with your homework. Like if you say, explain photosynthesis, that is a prompt, right? But if you say explain photosynthesis in 3 simple steps, like I'm in 9th grade, that's also a prompt, but more detailed. And the second prompt will give you a much better answer for most people than if you just ask it to tell you, explain photosynthesis, right?
Yes.
If your prompt is vague, AI guesses and sometimes lies. And if your prompt is clear, the AI delivers something useful. Clarity is power when it comes to AI. The more clear you can be about what you want it to do, the more clear you can be on getting a result. Now, for those of you that have AI in a browser, I actually have an exercise that I've designed for prompt writing. And the prompt is this: write down 3 things you wish AI could help you with, whether it's writing an email, creating a recipe, brainstorming a slogan, right? Anybody have one thing that they wish the AI could help them with? Just one, something simple, repetitive, but command and output are necessary.
Make it
Absolutely.
better in post.
Absolutely.
How to get my grown children to listen to me.
How to get my grown children to listen to me. Okay.
How I can be
No,
cooking in one area and doing something in another area.
uh,
Okay.
really how to make my conversation more professional, in the aspect of when the clientele that I'm reaching out to, those types of things, that they interest me, to get a more polished, um, you know, form of communication. That's it.
Mm, okay. So if you think about those things, each of them is a request that AI can help formulate some guidance for you, right? Pia with the how to get my grown kids to listen to me. That could be, especially from a business point of view, a very interesting blog post, right? Because the thing that you got to tell the AI is not only what you want it to help you with, but also what format you want it to be delivered in. I want to write a letter to my grown kids that has them understand these are my expectations of them and what they can expect from me going forward. Also known as them grown kids. Sorry. No, just remind me, Nikki has a podcast idea about that. But the idea is you got to tell it what you want, how you want it delivered, and what tone of voice it wants you to address from. So say if you matter of fact, I'm gonna get to that in a second. So the good idea is if you write a detailed prompt that says what it is that you want and how you want it to come back, that's when you're gonna get a better option. So if you think about each of the prompts that you gave me, one of you said a cooking thing, William, you said help with my presentations and the clientele. Think about rewriting it so that it's more clear. Like, how could you be more detailed in these are the things that AI always wants to know. It doesn't know who it is. It doesn't know who you are, and it doesn't know what you want. So if we use Pia's example to say, I want to write from the standpoint of a mental health professional, help me understand what things I can do to have my adult children listen to me or decide not to listen to them. As a blog post, 150 words or less. Give me as a checklist. That's probably what you want there. But these are the kind of ideas. So if you think about prompting in our world, the shortcuts I'm going to give you will let you get between level 3 and level 4. Level 1 is just conversational prompting. It's very beginner level. All of you could do beginner level prompting today if you gave yourself permission. I know Rel, after Charlotte, I think you said you went out and started playing around with ChatGPT because Dr. Hill was interested in it, right?
Yes, sir.
And you felt pretty comfortable with the things that you got and were able to get it to do for you?
Yes, sir. And as you were speaking too about things that, like you were saying, the patterns, I'm starting to understand the patterns and things now too when I'm using the Chat GPT.
Yeah. And I
Absolutely.
mean, like all technology, I'll say the best way to get good at this stuff is just to play around with it and see what it does well and doesn't do well. Like it's not like I remember there were, like you get a critical error, like you could crash a computer before, right? I'm not gonna crash these, right? So ask it, look at the input, use your own judgment. But the next level, so from conversational beginner prompting, you get to directed prompting, where you got some basic controls and parameters that you put around every conversation. The better you get at asking the question, the better answers you get. And then you got structured computing, all the tools that I'll put in the cookbook, like the practice prompts that you'll get when we get done with this training, are things that you should be able to reuse. And then a few advanced prompts, meaning now you're a wizard, like literally You can do like this is the between these two, like Spin City is obviously an expert level prompt engineer. And not only does he know what prompts to use, he has a set of tools. I think on the stage, when I was looking at his laptop, he had 6 primary AI tools open that he went back and forth between for different things. Did anybody else notice that?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
he
And he
focused
was
on
just
Notebook.
leveraging all of them.
It
And
was
at
he was
some point,
leveraging all of them, and a part of playing around is learning what the right thing is to do a thing. Like if you rewind in your mind, there was a time where you could do the same type of document in Word, PowerPoint, or Microsoft Excel, right?
Yes, sir.
And there were certain things that were better to do in Word than Excel, better things to do in PowerPoint, but all of them could go between one another. And you had to choose the right environment. Think of the different AI platforms out there for now, even though some of them compete directly with one another. Think of all of them as I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna put this in Excel or if I'm gonna use Microsoft Word document for it. Right. If I want text output, Chat GPT will do you good. If I want something visual, you probably want to be somewhere near Canva. Like its design and its thought process was from a graphical tool and built around generating graphic stuff. All right. So if you think about the 5 levels, again, it's the higher you go in level, the more consistent and better the results you are. Like conversational is easy, it's quick, but you'll have inconsistent results. If you do directed or structured, especially when you get into the structured prompt realm, now you got something that's professional and reusable. The goal, like when we start talking about building AI clones and AI twins, we're going to have to teach the AI how to match our style and be as precise as possible. There are different tools that are match our voice and our, like the stuff that you saw Brian and Spin doing. And then the last one is just engineering. Like you can be in a place where, because this is so new, even at an advanced age, because I give all of us credit, other than Rel, all of us were born before 1990, yes.
yeah.
But without a computer programming background, you can build prompts that are better than the average person and the average computer scientist if you just get used to talking to it regularly. So let's see, where are we? Oh, we're right at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna give you the golden rules of prompts, one example, and then we'll go. The golden rule of prompts is that AI is still a computer behind the scenes. And the AI is just like a mirror. It reflects back the quality of what you give it. So if your prompt is unclear, the output will be generic or messy. You know, you ever have somebody write you a form letter and then like that don't even sound like you. That's generic, right? And if your prompt is specific, the output will be targeted, useful, and easy to apply. And it's still the golden rule of prompting is that because it's the same rule that governs computers, garbage in equals garbage out, or quality in equals quality out. So we just want to get good at making quality prompts. So instead of saying, write me an email, you can literally say, write a friendly email to remind coaching clients of their upcoming session tomorrow at 2 p.m. Keep it under 150 words, end with an encouraging note. Yeah, hang on. Let's see. I think I can actually steal that whole prompt right there. Oh, that's not, I converted that to flat. Okay, no worries. But does everybody see the difference in those two?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then when it
Yes.
comes to any prompt, the action is what the first thing that you got to tell a computer is what any computer program, but especially AI, tell it what you want from it. Say to compose an email, not just to make an outline. The tone is where it said friendly. It said use a friendly style. That lets it know to use warm words, not to be like, be your ass that, I'm sorry, be there 5 minutes early so we have time to connect. And then the audience specifies who it's for. Coaching clients, warm tone, full email, and then gives the reason. It does need a little bit of why. And then by saying 150 words or less, you can be friendly without being on the phone all day. And then it directs it with how to wrap up the message, be upbeat and uplifting. And the generators know how to respond to those conditions and clauses. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So at this point, I would
Yes.
give the exercise to pick a babe prompt that you've tried before and rewrite it using specific tone, meaning tone, format, audience, and length is how you tell it how much text. And if you compare it, whether you use Gigi was the one I was using for this, but Gigi or GPT, just look at and compare the differences in results, and you'll start seeing how you can get better stuff out of your engine. I'll pick up here on building blocks next time, meaning if you know these 5 things that an AI needs, you can always feed it in a way that drives either results you want, meaning you want an answer, or get this now, you want it to act as you. And there are 2 sides to the story. Sometimes you want it to do something on your behalf, and sometimes you want it to do something for you. Example of something I wanted to do for me would be make me a checklist of all the things that I need to do to get ready for my next training event. Put in a checklist format, make sure to highlight any of the items in my calendar, which is attached, or any of the tasks that I have in my to-do list. And it'll give me a prioritized checklist to let me do those things, right? That's it giving me something as feedback. Give me a menu with vegetables for a grandfather with 3 children under age 3 that hate eating their vegetables. Give me a week's worth of meals, including balanced diet, high in vegetables that kids love. It can do that for me. I got a prompt that does that. An example of it doing something for me, use my voice card. Encouraging, empowering, and energetic. Those are the 3 attributes that the AI said I exude most in my writing.
Nice.
And write a social media post promoting the value of financial literacy as we come into the holiday season. Make a series. I want 3.
Mhm.
Preview of coming attractions. This is kind of a cool output that it gave me from that last barrage. So it said to me, can y'all see this?
No.
So,
I see it now.
so I asked it to write an outline for me of a book for Guide for Grandparents Raising Grandchildren, psychological impacts, financial implications, psychological discipline and behavior, beginning blog post. Same thing with writing. I asked it, I gave it my goals and said, what does it tell you about me as a voice coach? Oh, let me scroll up. Act as a brand coach. That's me telling it which role. Analyze this short sample of my writing. So that's the first thing I asked. So all this in the text right there is what I put. And then at the end of my quote, I said, what feeling does it give? What pace intensity does it have? And what values and mindset show through? It said to me, emotion, energy, attitude, tone defining adjectives, inspirational, ambitious, and empowering. That's a voice card. It knows what I sound like. And I said, well, now, knowing this, act as a brand strategist based on my tone adjectives, ambitious, empowering, and my sample writing. Create my voice card with 2 to 3 sentence summary, 3 adjectives, do and don't list, 5 of each, and 5 signature phrases. Now, I didn't write these, but watch me start using them. It said, watch these signature phrases it generated for me. Living a life of limitless possibilities. I like that. 2, empowering others to build their lives by design. That sounds familiar. Creating a legacy of love, trust, and success. Transforming challenges into opportunities for growth and leading with drive, vision, and initiative.
I love it.
It's like, ChatGPT. I mean, well, this is Gigi, but Gigi, I love you. So, but by having just that groundwork, so when you hear Brian talking about having a lot of samples of yourself speaking and anything that you've written, what I do find is it does a better job of mimicking your voice if it hears your voice. Not just that it makes up, and I'm not talking about like the words that I'm saying. That's not what I mean. I mean talking like you because it's heard you talk a lot. So anything that you got on YouTube, we'll start being able to feed that into our engines. Okay. I think I have rambled on enough. Oh, by comparison, I just asked Lev AI the same question. This is when you know AI engines are slightly different. But at the end of the day, with the same prompts, she gave me consistent output, emotion, energy, attitude, tone defining objectives, inspirational, determined, visionary. He gave me this voice summary. I speak with a voice that resonates with inspiration and determination. My words are crafted to uplift and empower, painting a vision of future filled with possibility and greatness. Each sentence I utter is designed to motivate action and foster a sense of community and legacy. Come on now. So
Wow.
again,
Just that alone will give the reader, make them curious about who you are as a person.
and then just notice a slight
Like,
difference in engine. I gave it the same prompt. It gave me slightly different things, but you can tell that AI is listening and learning from the things that we teach it. All right.
Yes. Also, it is bringing more impact for the person to come and be interested to see what it's going to be giving out, what you
Right.
create.
So for now, just start thinking, ask better questions. You'll get better answers. The same as the work we were doing in prospecting, meaning the person that asks the best and most questions wins. The person that asks the best questions in a way that AI learns to answer will also win here. So don't be afraid. Is anybody afraid now? Or you think if I gave you the text to copy and paste, you can copy and paste and start making up your own recipes?
Is it?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's my goal. We got some more to learn. We got plenty to learn and plenty of time. And the best thing about it is, as we learn it, we evolve together.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Right.
All right. Good night,
Excellent.
everybody.
great
Awesome.
job. Thank you,
Good
Richard.
job. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. We gonna learn this thing. We're gonna master it. Like we gonna have a cheat code. We're not just gonna have AI on a shelf. It's not gonna be shelf help. It's gonna be self-help. And I'm gonna help myself to help other people get this thing to help us all. All right. Bye.